Hey, yo, welcome back to AIW's The Card is Going to Change. My name is Ronald Two Legs, and as always with me, the owner of Absolute Intense Wrestling, John Thorne. What's up, Thorne?
Here, I'm dying in this heat. It's a heat wave.
All right. I got AC, though. I'm fucking... My kid wanted to go outside and play and stuff, and I was like... That's on you, buddy. I'm staying inside. You know, I work outside, so I was out in the heat all day. I ain't trying to come home and, you know.
It's just a lowly independent wrestling promoter. You think I got central AC going?
Are you a window unit guy?
Oh, yeah, it's a fucking so annoying window unit.
It's rough because you got to just keep it cranked. And like this, there's no off period. You just got to keep it cranked because it's hard to keep up with how hot it's been.
Oh, yeah, it's just... There's no hope for me over here.
It's brutal.
Yeah, I'm just going to sweat to death this week.
That's the one thing. That's like one thing I almost like feel like once I've had it, central air like type, you know what I mean? Like I don't think I could go without it the other way. Like I just, at night sleeping, it's just too much. I'd freak out.
No big purchases for me because I got to worry about this stupid wrestling company that I run. So.
Your building is like owned by a company too. You couldn't even could you even really get central air? Would that be a thing that they would? Are you allowed to do that, or that's like an upgrade you wouldn't do to that?
I would have to buy it myself.
Oh geez, damn, that's probably expensive as hell.
Yeah, then if I left, I gotta leave it.
Oof. Yeah, you're not packing up the AC unit and the heat, the HVAC unit to take to your next place. Yeah.
Yeah, like I can get it, but I gotta cover all the costs. So.
Oof. Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah,
well,
it doesn't seem like it's in the budget.
I don't want to cover the heat too much. I don't want to get into weather podcast. This is a hard sell pod week. We do have a show this Saturday at the Tadmore Shrine in Akron, Ohio. We're bringing Shook Ones.
What we need to do.
Yeah. I've been told that the ticket sales are not too great. I mean, let's get to the elephant in the room, I guess, or at least the discussion. Do you really think that the painting of the walls of that place is going to affect this show that much? It's so crazy to me.
Some people have said that they're not coming because the walls aren't painted anymore. So, I mean, the ticket sales would certainly reflect that stance. I don't know if that's an accurate stance or not, but we got into it a little bit last week, and we haven't seen much movement, to be honest. So, just hoping for a big run this week. I don't know, what else to say. It's not looking good. I don't know what happened in the Akron area for there to be such a kind of downturn. We've never seen it before. You know what I mean? Like last time we thought maybe it was because there's no meet and greet.
Yeah.
Now we added 2 meet and greets.
That's what I was going to say. We have 2 this time. It's not even just one. Well, this time we're coming back. We brought 2 different, AEW talents.
Right. And not much movement, so I don't know. You know what I mean? Really not sure what the cause is. I don't know. Maybe our time is coming to an end in the Akron area. I'm not sure.
It's interesting. I mean, I know we have brought in Max Caster, but that was in the Lakewood area. It wasn't in Akron, and as far as I know, I don't know, my prior to me, but I don't think we've ever brought in, Jerry Lynn ever. Right?
No, never brought in Jerry Lynn. Never brought Max Caster to this area. But I don't know. I don't know what gives. I think and I don't know. There's so many things, Toy Hio had like a huge guest list over the weekend. I did see quite a few fans. I got to talk to quite a few fans that, they're like, I don't know if I'm coming. I wasn't planning on coming. Maybe I'm coming. I listened to the podcast. I'm just like, oh, this is not a reassuring conversation that I'm having throughout the day. You know? But it is. It is what it is. I like I said. We got basically 4 more shows for sure on the schedule. And then we're gonna assess where things are at and what needs to be done or what needs to change or what we need to do to move forward because it's not looking too good Saturday.
Yeah, I would just be so curious to hear, people sound off in the Discord or what, what are you looking for? Because this card, is a great card, but it also, like you said, we have the 2 meet and greets, which typically do pretty well in Akron. 2 people that have never really been in that area, 2 pretty big name talents. There's all kinds. There's a steel cage match. You don't see that very often. Got a women's match on the card. You got, a big name Cleveland media guy and Nathan Zagura, responding to members only. I think there's a lot, there's just there's so much stuff on this card. It's wild to hear that ticket sales are as light as they've been, but I guess like what you said, with the just kind of so many different options going on lately, it's hard,
I just don't know if it's just like there's just things are just in full swing as far as, just entertainment, you know what I mean? Like, like last weekend the Rolling Stones were, sold out at the Brown Stadium. That was like rescheduled from COVID, I believe. So like, there's a lot of that stuff that's, just there's a lot of stuff happening. It's the summertime. So, traditionally, back in the day, independent wrestling went pretty much like in hibernation mode in the summertime because, it always did so bad traditionally. And then, in, I don't know, the last, like five-ish years, we saw like such an increased, just interest throughout the summer months. Now I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's summer. I don't know if it's people are sick of wrestling. I don't know if people are sick of AIW. I don't know what it is. But to go from pretty much like 800 people a month ago to like 70. Like there's, like I said last week, there's the only thing that we really have to go off of is these, cold, hard analytics and facts, so, something's got to give. I don't know, maybe Akron just is, seen its fair share of AIW and they've moved on to do other things. I don't know, but we've seen Akron was pretty much guaranteed, since we started going there.
You get a pretty big showing every time, right?
Right, and then in April we saw a huge downturn, and now it's looking like it's going to be even worse this Saturday. So I don't know. I'm not trying to be all doom and gloom with people, but this is just kind of the it's like people don't have to think about this all day. I do, so it's just tough to I'm looking at those. The Eventbrite and all that stuff, and I'm, like, hey, when's this? This thing has not moved really.
It's also a weird ebb and flow and up and down for you as far as, if we want to talk about, we were in Minerva on Friday, and you go out to these, a smaller town like that, and we put the ring up and do it at their homecoming, kind of fair deal. And I mean, that crowd was hot. Those people were loving it. They were hot for wrestling.
It was also free. You know what I mean?
Free.
Like
well, right. But I'm just saying, the people, they're enjoying themselves. I think we're putting on good shows. It's not like, I don't think, the smaller crowds or whatever, the lack of ticket sales, it's not like we're just throwing, shit out there. I think our cards and our wrestling, our roster has been as good as it ever has been.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just so
wild
to see.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean? And it's hard, it is such like a, high and a low, like coming out of that huge temple crowd and then, thinking that momentum is going to continue to carry us. We're on the road to Absolution. This is the last show before Absolution, all that stuff. And I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems to have hit a wall. I don't know if it's Akron. I don't know if it's schedule. I don't know if it's summer. There's really, could be a combination of all those things. It just could be we're running too many shows, I don't know. But, I mean, I guess we should talk about the Minerva thing, though, because that is, something positive to talk about.
Yeah, I thought that was a good outing for us as a crew. I thought, all the people involved, all the people who had matches, put on a good show. I think it was good work for some of the younger kids too to kind of work the crowd and learn some of that stuff. Get more comfortable with doing that.
It is strange to kind of like like an office. They'll go on, they'll do like a team building exercise, like stuff like that is kind of like a team building thing for the AW crew. You know what I mean? It is so it's a different type of pressure. Like I don't want to say it's low pressure because there's still pressure there to perform, and it's a different kind of task at hand, so to speak. It's family friendly. It's very up close and personal. It's very, good guy, bad guy based. And it's just it's a different kind of set of things, boxes that you have to check. But everyone like really enjoys it. You know what I mean? Like it turns out to be such a enjoyable experience. And I'm just like, that's the thing. I was feeling pretty like deterred and just down last week based on how things are looking for Akron, and then I'm driving to this town in the middle of nowhere. It's like over an hour and a half from my house, and I'm just like, man, like what are we what are we doing? And it ended up being like so fun and just kind of rejuvenating for like a ton of us. Like everyone that went like had such a positive experience. It was so fun. Can't say enough good things about the people of Minerva who they worked to bring us in, and they were super accommodating, and it was just like such a great experience. And then it's just like, man, like like that is like, I wish it could be more like that, in a sense that it's not this kind of rat race of live streaming and like trying to hit all these different goals and things, and there's so much money that needs to come in to break even on a regular event. And then you know what I mean, like we're we're doing 6 matches on a basketball court next to a creek, and it's like more fun than any of that. Like it's just different, I guess.
I think it's a good type of low pressure, and I just think it helps the younger kids. I mean, because to be fair, I mean, an AIW crowd is tough. That's a tough indie crowd of people who are going to yell shit, and you know what I mean? You got to really be on your game as a performer, or the AIW crowd is they're going to fucking let you have it. So I think for some people, it's a nice change to get people they're never going, because that's the thing too. You're never going to see any of those people again that work in that fair. You're going to see these AIW crowd, the regulars here, over and over again. I work in a crowd like that.
I mean, maybe you see them again. You know what I mean? I know that.
Well, you'd hope to bring it over, but you know what I'm saying. As an overall, you know what I mean. Like it's almost like it's just a little freer, in my opinion. I think Tyson had another great outing. I thought he did really good. And he got more work talking to the crowd and really kind of getting his thing, getting comfortable being that Tyson Riggs, kind of gimmick, whatever talking to the crowd and really kind of working it. This was another good outing for him, in my opinion, to keep the momentum and confidence rolling. And that's what's good about these fair shows is some of the younger people, it's good work for them to really get in there and kind of test some shit out and
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is like, the definition of developmental wrestling, like you're learning so many different skills than you would, performing in front of a true, tried and true AIW show. You're right. I mean, it's different. Like I said, it's just a different set of boxes that need to be checked at shows like this. And it just makes everybody more versatile and more comfortable in these different settings, and it was just it was a blast, to be perfectly honest. Hopefully some of those people from Minerva make their way up to the Tadmor Shrine on Saturday. I think it's only about a 20-30 minute drive, but yeah, I mean, I think it was great. I think that they're super interested in bringing us back and doing more stuff with us, and that's the stuff that it's really it's like, when stuff like that goes well, it's like the highest of highs, because there's so little that could, really go wrong. You know what I mean? Like we're being hired for the day. We don't got to worry about selling tickets, like all that, all that stuff. Everything is kind of taken care of, and it's just like we just have to show up and do what we do, which is, it's I don't want to say it's like routine, but it's a machine, and It's kind of funny. An old school AIW guy actually showed up to Minerva. You probably saw me talking to him. It was Drew Taylor, who was, he kind of, broke in and was like a ring crew guy in early AIW. And, he was a good friend of Chandler's and Pedro's. And, he would, be on, he was another one of those fans that like Chandler and like Pedro that, they kind of brought into the fold when, once Chandler got in, he brought Pedro and, you know what I mean? And they brought this guy, Drew Taylor, in as well. And, he was around all those early AIW shows. And then he eventually, a few years in, we didn't have a referee and he was there and he started refereeing and he went on, to be a referee, like independent referee, for a very long time until he kind of, got out of the business a little bit. But, he showed up because he, we weren't too far away from wherever he's living right now. And he's just like, he's looking at this and he's just like, how is this so polished? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I can't believe
different from when he did it.
Yeah. He's like, I thought this was going to be a fucking shit show. AIW at a Minerva fair. Like, he's like, I can't believe just how smooth this whole thing is. And then I was just like, dude, like AIW is, I don't know, like I couldn't even tell you how long it's been, since he's not been to an AIW show, but he was like impressed. I was like, dude, you should see a regular show. They're so fucking polished at this point, like we have it down to a very good formula. And he had said that he's been trying to come to AIW, but he can never get out of the car because, he doesn't want to come in there and not see Chandler there. And he said it's been real difficult for him. And, which I totally understand. And, that's, that kind of resonated with me that I don't think people realize, there's all these new people and these new students and all this stuff that have come long after Chandler was there. But, I don't think people realize how hard it is for people that were there when Chandler was there to continue this. And, that was one of those things where I was just like, yeah, you know what? Like, everything is sucking with, Akron ticket sales and pressure and all that stuff. But, there is a purpose and the reason for that this is continuing on. And, I've been able to kind of fight past that. And, but it, it put it in perspective for me a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, it was extremely hard for me to keep it going. I wanted to shut the whole thing down.
Sure.
It's been extremely, it's hard for Pedro,
You still do sometimes.
Well, right. But I mean,
you wanted to a couple days ago.
Well, I mean, for different reasons. But
yeah, I know. I'm just saying. It's almost happening.
In general, it's very hard for people that were around when Chandler was around to show up to AIW, I know that there's other people that still have not come back to AIW or shown up because of that. It's and it just made me realize is like, sometimes like that stuff leaves my head. I get kind of lost in the weeds on all the business and everything else that's going on. But it's just like, at the end of the day, this is a really special place that it's really important to a lot of people that it's still going, even though that for whatever reason they can't bring themselves to come or whatever, it means something to them based on the history of it and all that. And, for him to be impressed by what we're doing at a, Minerva fair, spoke volumes to me, honestly, about how far we've come in, the last, I don't know, however many years, it's gotten so, it's become such a well-oiled machine.
I think that's kind of why I really enjoy Patty and I really appreciate her and I really like that she comes around, because I think that if I had to put myself in Chandler's position, I would want my mom to go and be, because I think she likes it. And I think it makes her feel good to hear the stories of people remembering Chandler and being around those people, once a month or so, whenever we do it, whatever. And I just think that's what I would want for I would want people to be nice to my mom. You know what I mean? I just think about that and, how it probably means a lot to Chandler. I'm sure, that everyone treats Patty so well. And I'm sure, we know it means a lot to her. We love Patty. So it's like.
Yeah, it's just, it's just one of those things to where it was just like, Yeah, and I talked to Pedro about it. He's like, yeah, I don't think people realize how hard it is for both of us to show up to this, every few weeks or whatever, and, deal with everything that's going on. But there's, there's a bigger thing at hand, so to speak, and, that really kind of helped motivate me, a little bit. And, I'm just hopeful that things, turn out well, because, at the end of the day, like, I can't personally afford to, fund this thing for fun, like off of my job,
Right,
so it's like,
right.
It's just one of those things to where we have to, we got to figure out where things are breaking down as far as, we can do incredible business and then just atrocious business. Like, I don't know where the breakdown is. Should we only be doing, 5 or 6 shows a year, that are really big, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. There's a lot to consider, and then at the end of the day, there's also, like, we have a wrestling school, and it's just like, we owe it to those people. But, at the end of the day, like, how can I continue to promote shows that the people aren't coming to see?
You're right.
So it's just like, it's tough.
Yeah, and it's just shocking too, I guess, because like we've said, because Akron has done so well, it's so shocking to see this happen like twice in a row. Because things happen here and there. You'll have a show that's a little under sold, or where maybe there was a few things lining up on a same weekend, whatever. But the fact that this is not happening again, we've seen it slowly decline in Akron while it's steadily rising somewhere else. It makes you think that's what's so confusing.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe it's going to be a big walk-up town. I don't know. It's just.
I hope so.
Yeah, like when you do 3 rows of premium seating and like you haven't sold it, like after weeks, and, it's like, listen, like there's a lot of money going out. We have 2 meet and greets. That's big fees, big flights, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like we'll have to wait and see. And but I just wanted to say how positive Friday was. Even going to Toy Hio, I hung out with Monsoon Classic all day. And,
my guy.
We didn't sell that much stuff, but we got to hang out all day. We did okay. And I saw a lot of fans, and a lot of people like, I don't know, I'm trying to come, I don't know if I'm gonna come, you know what I mean, like stuff like that. I'm just like, it's just like, had such a fun day yesterday, and now it's just like, I don't know, but then like there were people that were like, told me some really, kind of moving stories, similar to the vein of Chandler, to where, they had some, some kind of personal tragedy, and how AIW has like helped them, kind of like cope and giving them something to do, month in and month out. And, it's kind of crazy, like what people will say to you when you're just standing at a table, in the middle of a convention. But it's
not drunk.
Yeah, like in the morning. It's like 10 a.m. Let's get into it, and but like I think it's great. You know what I mean? Like those are the kind of stories to where it's just like, you know what I mean? Like fuck, like how. How big are my problems, right? Like it's just, I don't know. Like they're big, but like, are they this big? And, it just kind of, it's that internal struggle of like, like I said, do I want to get off this hamster wheel? Or then, you think about it, it is an important thing for people. We just need to become an important thing for more people. So like, it's less worrisome for people like me and Pedro, who are looking at these, balance sheets and going, fuck, like we got a long way to go,
Right. You guys know the real ins and outs of it, Pedro, especially doing the books and whatnot. Well, let's not get too doom and gloom on this bad boy. Let's get into this card, because I do think, like I said, I think we've been putting out some of the strongest cards we've ever have as a company. I think the card for this Saturday is incredible. We talked a little bit about we kind of ran through. We have all. It's a very diverse card this Saturday. So where do you want to start? I know it is. Well, this is our wrap show.
I think you just got to kind of run it down, like I don't know that we gotta give like the the big backstory to everything, because I think if you run this match, you run this card down, it in my head speaks for itself. And I mean, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just so immersed in this AIW bubble, but to me, I think we've been putting out some really strong cards, and the one thing that people have to realize is we are trying to develop new talent. Just think, we talk about it all the time. Just a few years ago, Wes Barkley and Josh Bishop and so many others, they're working the meet and greet lines, and they're doing wristbands at the door, and you know what I mean. This is it's a system and it's a process, and you can apply that to so many people. Trey Lamar, Mikey Montgomery, Sam Holloway, Shelby Wilder was running the camera a month ago, much to the excitement of Chase Oliver, to have Shelby Wilder back holding the camera. But, there's just, there's so, that's what is special about AIW is we're trying to mix and match all these different things together, as far as developing our own talent from the school, bringing in some, the hot independent talent such as, Alec Price, and, then you have Tom Lawler, who's become a mainstay, and he's gone on to do so much great stuff, in so many different places. And then you mix in meet and greets and people from AEW like Max Caster and, a legend like Jerry Lynn. And it's just I think that's what makes AIW great. We are, right or wrong, always putting out a different product than, your more traditionally, viewed or talked about indies. And, that's where I kind of struggle, because we could do that too and maybe draw, and maybe not. You know what I mean? It just, I just really think that we're, for better or worse, trying to be different and put a different, put different people out there and different, make different people matter. And, I don't know if that's, I don't know if that's what's wrong either, but to me, especially, people that have been coming to these shows in the Northeast Ohio area, I think this is an extremely strong card for people, for people that have been following AIW. And, I know Kurt Angle has a lot to do with it, but, 800 people didn't just come through the meet and greet line and leave, you know what I mean? A couple of weeks ago, they filled the seats still and stayed all night, there's got to be some, there has to be some residual fans that were gained, because I felt that Gauntlet delivered, and there was no meet and greet for the people watching on Fight, and it was watched, it was one of our higher watched things of the year. I talked about that a little bit last week about how our Fight numbers have kind of been struggling, but got the report this week, and Gauntlet for the Gold did great. So there was no meet and greet, there was no Kurt Angle on any of that, right? Yeah, right.
Even though there was supposed to be, but he changed his mind. But we'll get into that another day. But there has to be some residual. The shows are delivering, I think, from an in-ring standard, and I think this show Saturday is certainly going to over-deliver. Especially, which I'm not going to say it, I'm not going to get into it, but there is some fucking crazy surprise booked that we cannot advertise right now. And I would be I think people would be extremely disappointed if they decided to skip this one. It's going to be one of those things that it's probably going to be mainly for the live audience only. And that's all I can say really at this point.
Yeah, I definitely can't expound on that, but I think I tweeted, you don't want to be the person that misses out, because this is not something that seemed like like a fizzle. This is going to be a bang. So make sure you're there this Saturday. Another thing I want to talk about, when you were talking about kind of what AIW is doing, and not just booking these super indie cards. I think you named a couple guys that this match in general. We got a 6-way. There's 6 guys in this match. Austin James,
Vic Vice, Tyson Riggs, Dex Royal, Mikey Montgomery, and Shelby Wilder. I think this match is like a perfect example of what you were talking about. You got a guy who's a pretty big name, fast growing on the indies, that's kind of getting all over right now with Dex Royal. You got a guy like Shelby Wilder who was holding a camera not too long ago. He's only recently debuted. You got a couple guys that have ascended the AIW ranks fairly quickly, and Mikey Montgomery, former tag champ, AJ, Austin James, people love him, hate him in AIW. He's definitely, a polarizing figure. People have, definitely, taken to him. And you got the pure artist Vic Vice and Tyson Riggins, two guys, that are newer to the
Riggs, not Riggins.
Yeah, I keep calling him that. I don't know why. It's right in front of me too. But I just think this is a perfect example of exactly what you're talking about. A perfect mixed bag of all kinds of different walks of wrestling in the current regime of AIW.
Another thing that's great, though, I not to go back on it again, but another thing that's great if you are an AIW fan and like you happen to be able to come to one of these, fair gigs that we do that aren't streaming live. It's it's very much in a sense like a traditional wrestling house show. It's very loose formatted. Man, Austin James could have been the mayor of Minerva.
Yeah.
Friday night.
Well, that's the thing. I think he's. I don't think there's anyone really tepid on AJ, even in the AIW crowd. I think people either love him or people are really against him. I don't think AJ ever gets a really mild reaction, even in the regular crowd shows.
But I mean, man, did they love him in Minerva?
Oh yeah. Oh, he was. Yeah, he was. Oh, he was big time over.
Yeah, he was big time over at Minerva, and I just couldn't, when you brought him up, I just could not mention what a big, gigantic star Austin James was in Minerva, Ohio this past Friday night. I mean, this guy, he could go there, he could run for mayor, and he'd probably win. The people loved him.
Love to see Ohio. I love AJ. That's my guy.
But yeah, I think this is a great great example of throwing everything in the pot and mixing it up. And, hopefully something, great comes out of it. There's a lot of people that, wants, they want that regular spot in the rotation, right? They want to, they want to get in the mix to where, they're getting singles matches and big title matches and big opportunities. And, every single person in this match is certainly capable of getting that. It just takes one spark to, ignite a flame and, you're off to the races.
Yeah, I think that the classic AIW kind of scramble has always been a match in AIW that, one guy could steal the show or one, and especially now in this day and age, one GIF, you never know, and you could see something like that in this six-way. Another thing I did want to touch on real quick too, we don't got to run down every single story, every single match, but this is traditionally our wrap show, for this series of, our AIW schedule, which is typically a no rules. The entire show is, held under no rules. There is a match on the card that is going to be a pure rules match between Dom Greeny and Shawn Mason. I know Dom kind of ran this down on Twitter. Some of the real rules. You're definitely more you're more familiar with this type of match than I am. But this one will be one of the only ones contested under regular not just anything goes.
Not even regular rules.
Well, what I'm saying, like they're. Yeah, there's specific shit for this one. This is the only one.
Dastardly Dominic Guarini, taking the fun out of the no rules show.
Right. Yeah, he's got to get in there and fucking make it no fun. He's angry Dom. So,
Dastardly.
I don't think you want to run down all exactly what that is here, but I did want to make mention of it.
I don't fucking know. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't even really know. I know, I think you just got to grapple.
There was some specific ones, and then I know Joe Sposto even chimed in and said, "Hey, I think they're after so many, rope breaks or something like that."
I know that you get 3 rope breaks. That's it.
Okay, shout out to Joe Sposto, of course.
But yeah, I mean, fuck, we'll see what happens. I don't like Dastardly Dom, trademark it.
Yeah,
but.
He's got this new music, Bad Man music, and now he's making up his own rule. Who told him he gets to do this?
What did he come out to in Minerva? Because I hate the music changing.
Yeah, well, he couldn't really use his song that he's doing now in Minerva because it's his new Bad Man song is a Death Grip song, is all riddled with cusses. So he came out to Bad Religion, Infected by Bad Religion.
find it hard to believe that Dom would even know one song by Bad Religion.
I think it was on a Tony Hawk Pro Skater, probably.
Do you want to talk about the Minerva DJ?
I'm sorry, what? It cut out. What did you say?
Do you want to talk about the Minerva DJ, how he was DJing?
Dude, so I told him several times. So we're sitting there, and this man is cracking me up. He starts playing songs, and I look over. He's playing karaoke versions on YouTube. He's on YouTube and playing karaoke versions of songs so that the words are going by in front of him on the screen, and he's like riding his finger on the volume so he could turn it down if there's any swears. He doesn't play a song with swears. I think he played a Kid Rock song, and I think he thought there was going to be a cuss in the Kid Rock song. Fast forward to the end of the show, he did the little pre-match, he played some stuff, whatever, it was mostly country. For whatever reason, at the end of the match, once the matches were over and he was fulfilling the rest of his DJ duties, he started playing all these rap songs with the F word and the N word, just letting them fly. And I was like, dude, are you not hearing this? Like, you are just letting cuss words just fly.
Yeah, he was...
it was incredible.
Maybe there's like a law in the city charter that you could cuss after 8. There can be cussing after 8 or something.
I don't know, but he seems like I've never seen anyone do that. I've never seen anyone like DJ off of YouTube, like, and not even like make a playlist and like fade in and out and have the songs like kind of go whatever. He was just hard stopping stuff like right in the middle and going to another one. It would load a second of an ad. It was incredible. Oh yeah, that Friday was awesome. I loved it. I had a great time. That was a great time.
Got a couple corn dogs, salty corn dogs.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it really, but that was a great show for vlog. We did a lot of vlogging. I almost think we should do that one. Maybe we put that one out for free and let people know what they're missing out on. As to, hey, this is what you're getting. Sign up for Patreon. Because that one, there was a lot of footage. There was a 2-on-2 basketball game that happened at the end of it. It ended up being 3-on-3, and it was wild time.
Turned out to be a 5-on-2. Chuck Stone and Eric Taylor against like 4 little kids in razor sharp. Swat the ball away in favor of the little children, like an angry dad or something. But
another guy who probably could have been mayor of that town if he wanted to. Razor Man was all the kids were loving Razor Man, running around playing basketball.
Yeah, he was a man of the people.
Yeah, sorry, you got me off on the tangent there. I forgot about that. That was all of a sudden he started playing Big X the Plug, and I'm like, dude, he hit the F word hit, and I looked over and he's just like nodding. He didn't even know what happened, and I'm like, dude, and he looked at me and went, what? And I go, the song's saying cusses, and as I'm saying that, he hit off an F and then an N. It was bad. He was saying all kinds of horrible stuff, and I'm like, dude, the song is just playing cuss words. And he went, oh, and like kind of came to and just hard cut the song, just turned it off, and it was silent for a few seconds.
Must have been hitting that French waffle tent a little hard.
Oh, dude, those French waffles. I got deep fried Oreos. But they had 3 different kinds. They had Oreos, Nutter Butter, and Chips Ahoy. Got 2 of each because they did 6 for whatever.
One of the AW students, caught me walking around, and they were like, "Hey, do you want some of this? I got the Sugar Rush." And I said, "What's a Sugar Rush?" It was like 12 different deep fried cookie or snack items. And I said,
wow.
I don't want anything to do with any of that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got, but it was only 3. It was just cookies. It was really good. I love deep fried shit like that. I love fair food.
All right, back to the show.
Yeah, that was the Pure Rules match, Dastardly Dom. We got a fan favorite coming in. Alec Price is going to be in the house. I know everybody's a big fan of the prize. We got him coming back. That's another one, like you said about Tom, was a guy who's kind of almost on every show. I feel like Alec Price, has been on a lot of AIW shows as of recently.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's, I've said it before, but I think he's, probably the top of the crop as far as independent wrestlers go right now on a grand national scale. I think he's the top dog as far as in-ring ability, and I think he always over delivers when he's in AIW, not only AIW but anywhere. If you see Alec Price on the card, you should probably go see it. And this is a big opportunity for him in AIW, but an equally big opportunity for Sam Holloway to get in there and mix it up with somebody who is that talented and that busy and doing what Sam wants to do, which is make a name for himself. Alec Price is a little bit ahead of the game on Sam as far as that's concerned, but like I said, it takes one spark to ignite a flame, and if Sam can go out and have a wild boy on Saturday night, I think that's certainly going to do wonders for his career, his visibility, and just overall getting his name out there.
Yeah, right. I mean, because if there's anybody to have one with, it's definitely the prize. He's definitely, like you said, a guy who goes out there and over-delivers every time. And yeah, that's one I'm extremely excited for. I know Sam, is a guy. He's been in a few, four-ways or some scrambles here and there. We haven't got to see too many singles up with him, and I'm excited for this one. Sorry, I had to cough there for a second. A lot of stuff on this card. Like I said, big media name. We got Nathan Zagura coming out responding to members only. There's been a lot of chirping online back and forth. I saw Dustin Alberti was catching strays today on Twitter. There's been some talk back and forth. There's been fans.
Zagura not happy with him, I'll tell you that.
No, not happy with him. There's a fan, Mo, the one fan. He's been chirping in members only's corner and taking their side. And then a lot has been going down on Twitter. It's been a wild ride these last few days.
Shout out to Mo. You was making those food specials at Rookies, like a year ago. I don't know if he still works there or not, but
he has brought food to shows too. I've eaten barbecue that he's brought a time or two. Mo's a good dude, like that guy. Shout out to Mo. He's definitely been.
I never had a food special named after me, but Mo did it, so he's a good guy in my book.
There you go.
Had something to talk about around the Christmas tree at the family Christmas day.
Yeah, do you remember what was it?
It was like a corned beef hash, like
something you would
sandwich.
Never eat.
No, it was somebody gave him some tips.
Oh, okay.
I think it was like corned beef hash on like a hamburger or something. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but
interesting.
I said, hey, cousin Jim, have you ever had a food special named after you at a restaurant? I don't think so.
That's great. But yeah, that should be interesting segment. We don't Cleveland Browns commentary. I'm trying to think like not national media, but local media. Nathan Zagura, pretty good big guy or name around here. I'm excited to see what transpires there. Members only doing a lot of talking online. So
my lips are sealed on that one, but I think something crazy is going to happen.
Fair enough. Something we alluded to earlier, you said a guy who's been coming back. We got Trey Lamar is going to be in a four-way with somebody we're bringing in for the meet and greet as well. AEW talent Max Caster versus Tyler Jordan, and then we got Derek Dillinger in there as well. So that's a four-way. That's that's four different guys. I can't think of four different more different guys. Tyler, a younger name. Trey, a guy who's been around for a while, but has been bouncing around. He was gone for a little bit. Derek, a mainstay, a guy who has done a lot in this company, and then you bring in Max Caster and throw him in there. This is going to be a wild one.
Yeah, I couldn't say it better myself. I think this is there's a lot of craziness that can unfold here. I think Max Caster, I believe, calls himself the greatest wrestler in the world or something. He's got some sort of trademark that I don't want to infringe on his trademark, so I'm not properly look into it. But Tyler Jordan, coming out of that feud with Josh Prohibition, obviously, still so new and young and learning, but incredibly talented. This is another one of those situations where you just throw him into the deep end, kind of, and Derek Dillinger, who's been, he's been at the bottom of the card, he's been at the top of the card, he's been in the middle of the card, he's been all over. I think, he's certainly, he wants to get back to the top of the card, right? And the only way to do that is to win. And you have Trey Lamar kind of in a similar boat. Took some time away from the business and AIW and came back, and I think he certainly, prior to the pandemic, was one of those guys that was certainly on his way to being a top guy in AIW, and I think he wants to get back to that. So. I think there's a lot of different ways this can go. And, I think, again, much like the Scramble, this is an opportunity for a lot of guys to come out looking really good. And, it's all about raising, like everything, when we're putting these cards together, it's all about raising people's equity and value and, just overall just presentation. And I think, I'm really happy with this whole card because there's so much upward trajectory potentially for a lot of these guys and girls on the show to really kind of put together a great performance. Like I said, it takes one good performance, and you're everywhere.
To be honest, the crazy thing is you could really almost say the same thing about the 4-way women's match that we have. It's very similar. You got people that have been all over the card. You got the 4 pretty much mainstays of our women's division, our women's roster. Gabby, a kind of newer name on the scene. Jocelyn, someone who's we call the gold standard around here. Katie, a newer face, but she's kind of been all over the card. Doing stuff with Derek. She's had a few singles matches here and there. And you got Zaya Brookside coming back in, who's been now 3 or 4 times now at AIW. I think this is another one that basically, like you said about the other 4-way, this could go any way, and it's definitely a moment or a match where a big moment can happen with any one of these 4.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that again, just like the male 4-way, this 4-way has so much potential for upward trajectory for so many different people. The male 4-way, you have Max Caster from AEW. The women's 4-way, you have Zaya Brookside from TNA. And mixing it up with people of all kind of skill levels, and Gabby's fairly new. Katie and Jocelyn are kind of veterans of the AEW roster. And again, everybody is looking for that. What's going to get me? What's going to get me onto the next show? A win is probably a good way to start that journey. And I think all 4 of these ladies are looking to come back. People want to get on that Absolution card, and I think that there's certainly going to be some implications here. For that.
Right. Like I said, this card, it delivers. There's a lot, it packs a punch. There's not a ton of matches, we're not going crazy or anything. I believe there's 8 or 9 matches on here. Are we doing any dark matches?
7. No, if there's a dark match, 1, 2, it's going to be 4, kind of, there's 7 matches in the Nathan Zagura, segment.
Gotcha. Okay. Rounding out a couple more to go. We do have a tag match. It's kind of a 4-on-4 tag. It's a Cash is King versus Kaplan, Wes Barkley, and PME. You saw that 4-way kind of come together at Gauntlet.
Cash is King with new Absolute Champion, the affiliate, Chuck Stone.
Correct. Cash is, right. He was kind of
the affiliate.
The affiliate, but now he's kind of like an official member, I guess, now with the whole belt situation and all that. I would be remiss to tell if I didn't tell you that Eric and Chuck went to high school together. They seem to mention that at every opportunity, so I want to put that in there for them just to cover all bases.
And Chuck has apparently vowed that he will hand over the Absolute title at Absolution to the Duke to fulfill the Duke's prophecy of walking out of Absolution as the champion. Obviously big implications in the main event, the steel cage match, to hopefully keep all of the outside interference at bay, considering there are no rules on this show. So I felt a steel cage. I signed this one personally. At the end of Gauntlet for the Gold, I felt a steel cage was necessary to keep all the riffraff out. And we're going to have the Duke and Broner get in that cage, and they're going to determine who is going to face Chuck Stone at Absolution. Be it Isaiah Broner getting a rematch, or the Duke getting his big Absolution main event, in which he is convinced he is walking out as the Absolute champion. So this is all going to have, big time implications, obviously, for Absolution. So this is the big go home show. There's going to be a lot of stuff that is certainly going to unfold on Saturday night. That's going to help shape that Absolution card. And these 2 matches are certainly a big part of that. Obviously, Cassius King has been running crazy throughout AIW for the last year and a half or so. Mm-hmm. And I think that you're going to see a lot of things unfold, and it would be pretty unfortunate if the Duke walked out of that cage as the number 1 contender. And hopefully that's not what happens. I don't think anybody wants to see the Duke in a main event anywhere. Which is a great example of maybe why our ticket sales are so bad for Saturday night.
I was gonna say, I mean, if Friday was any indication, people want to see Duke get his comeuppance because, man, that Minerva crowd did not like the Duke, and I don't think most of our regular fans do either. So now you're gonna get the chance to see Isaiah Broner, the problem, the man, the baddest in the land as far as I'm concerned. This man, 1-on-1 versus the Duke, and he's in a cage. He's stuck in a cage. That's
the odds are hopefully certainly not in the Duke's favor. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's not one to be missed. You know, we don't do steel cage stuff too often, and this is one you want to see. You know, we talked about putting the Duke in a dunk tank at that fair. This is the Duke in a steel cage, trapped in the steel cage with Isaiah Broner. I think that's worth the price of admission there alone.
Hopefully, he'll be bleeding too.
We got two.
All over those new white walls.
Right, we're gonna really make it look like a jail in there. We got two major meet and greets. Got Jerry Lynn coming in and Max Caster. So get there early. Check it out. Like we said, Akron, great venue. Got free parking. You know, there's all kinds of concession stuff. No reason not to come out. Have a good time this Saturday. We did get some questions in the Discord. We're going to be doing a new segment. I don't know if we'll just tease this one or if you want to get it out of the way now, but we are doing shout-outs to Patreon members. We're doing questions from the Discord. If you have a question or something you want to ask, you can hear it answer on the podcast. Join our Patreon, get in the Discord, and ask some questions, and you'll also get a shout-out for certain tiers there.
Let's hit those shout-outs before we forget them.
Sure, yeah. Let me pull them up here.
I think we only got to do this once a month. That's really all that's guaranteed when you're on the Patreon tier. Once a month shout out.
Once a month shout out.
As you can tell, we got some people that have signed up, for this shout out, and shout them out. We will.
Shout out to Brian Lazar. We got Jeremy, the EVP of Health. Jeremy, shout out. Josh Goldstein, shout out Josh. Casey Daly, Daniel McNeil, shout out to those guys. David Jelly Payne, Big Jelly, I know that guy, shout out. Harley Van Dam, that's in somebody's name I don't know. That's a new person.
Oh, you know him. He's the gentleman with lots of jewelry and the long flowing locks.
Oh, hell yeah! Okay, nice.
He's always hanging with Fonzie.
Fair enough. Yes, I think I've met that man before.
I think you've probably conspired with this gentleman.
I think I'm thinking of the same person then. Yes, I don't know why his name escaped me. Then that's funny. Shouts out to the pharmacist. Speaking of Michael Trombetta, what's up, Mike? Mike Eichenberg, what's up, Mike? Razor Sharp out there, and then finishing it off with Russell Williams. My brain's going too fast there. I was going to say a guy who always throws questions into the Discord for the pod. Appreciate that. And speaking of those questions, we got a couple coming our way. From Russell, he wants to know, what do you think, or who do you think are some of the most overrated and underrated wrestlers of all time? So you got anybody who's the most overrated, who's the most underrated all time?
Oh God, I don't know. I mean, that's really a hard question. You know what I mean? To answer as far as. It all depends. Like everybody has just different tastes and things, and I think Russell is going to need to get a little bit more specific, like era, WCW, WWE, Independence, ECW. You know what I mean? Like
sure. He'll be back next week, I'm sure, so that's fine. Yeah, just get more specific, Russ, on that one. That way we can give you a good answer. Mine, I'll probably get shit for, and I'll probably get yelled at, but I've always thought Randy Orton was overrated as fuck.
No way, dude.
I don't know.
He's great.
I like him later, Randy. I don't know if the earlier stuff, I just didn't love the earlier stuff. Later Randy, I'm sort of coming around on, but earlier Scary Snake Man, I was never a fan of. I don't know.
You know who I've been I always think Chris Chetty was super underappreciated, but
I think
I've been really gaining a new taste for later in life. If I go back and I watch some like early 2000s WWE, is man, Test could really he could go. Test,
huh?
Yeah, I'll go with Test. Overrated? I mean, I don't know. That's so hard because it's just like who's rating? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know, like what makes somebody overrated because they were a champion. They may have been pretty universally disliked, like
that's the thing about wrestling too. It's like just because you hate someone, there's 10 other people who like them too, and it's like that's why I always think I think that argument or whatever, overrated, underrated, is hard because
underrated is much easier because the underrated people, like, they never got any sort of due, so
yeah.
It's but overrated is kind of hard hard because there's just been so much all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like somebody like super overrated, but fuck, I mean, I really can't. Yeah, I don't know. John Tenta, another super underrated guy, I'll say.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
There's so many underrated guys, like overrated.
I like that answer a lot, actually. Tenta's a good one, I think.
Yeah, which is a little. I'm probably gonna break some news that maybe I shouldn't, but John Tenta's daughter is currently training at the AAW Academy, which is I find super cool, and I've been trying to keep it under wraps for a while, and I just blurted it out here on the podcast. So.
It got brought up, and there you go. That's why you should listen to the card is going to change.
But super cool thing going on right now. Hopefully, she sticks it out, and we see her make her AAW debut in the coming months to a year. But one of those that to me, I find that is just. Super cool for us to be able to, be training John Tenta's daughter currently. But dude, I don't really know about overrated, like it's just, that one is just so difficult.
Yeah. Another question he has, which may be a little easier one.
Maybe Russell can tell me who he thinks is overrated, and I'll give my opinion as to why I agree or disagree.
Yeah, he didn't say who his overrated or underrated is. He has another question, and he answers that one. We'll get to that one in a second. But this one was an interesting one. He wants to know if you could have any one WWE talent to appear on the SummerSlam weekend show, who would it be and why? I have an answer for this one, and it's just more of a practical answer than anything. I would have Shayna come and not lose the belt, but just relinquish it. And that way fans can stop fucking asking about it, because I think it's one of the most asked questions ever is, when is Shayna going to know Shayna with a belt? Blah, 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 blah. Gets asked
anybody?
A lot.
Anybody?
Yeah, anyone. It just says, any one talent to appear and why.
The Rock.
Goddamn right. No kidding. Yeah, and why. I think that's an easy, and I think that's a self-explanatory. I don't think you have to do the why on that one. But yeah, that's a good. I didn't think about that. I was trying to go, just because she said that question. So, you're not wrong. That's the right answer. I didn't think about it really in the literal sense. It just immediately occurred to me, Shayna, and then we could have her bring the belt back, and people can stop asking about.
Now, if you're asking like a maybe likely, I would say Kevin Owens or Shayna.
Man, KO would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Honorable mention, Johnny Gargano. Seth Rollins. There's so many, but if I could have anybody, I'm going to ask for The Rock or the big dog, Roman Reigns.
I think those are three, especially Owens, Shayna, and Gargano are three that would want to do it because they have the AIW ties. You know what I mean? Which would be cool. But yeah, you get the big dog.
Now, are you likely
Cena? You bring in Cena? Oh fuck.
Now, are you likely to maybe see those people walking in or out of the temple on Thursday, August 1st? I would think, there's a decent percentage of that.
Yeah.
But,
can confirm or deny.
I don't know for sure, but I would, if I had to guess, you know what I mean? You're probably going to see some WWE people pop by if they're in town that early.
Yeah. He also asks, he does answer this one. He wants to know, who is your greatest of all time? Who's your GOAT as an all-around performer? His is Mick Foley. I have an answer for this one. I don't know if you want to go first. We might have the same answer. I think we maybe do, to be honest. I'm not sure. There's varying, obviously, Shawn Michaels is the tried and true answer for a lot of people. He's, especially those
mid years where business was really down, he was certainly, overperforming. Mick Foley is a good answer, but very short run really on top if you really think about it.
Yeah.
Bret Hart is he is an acquired taste, for some. My favorite, is probably Scott Hall. I think
that was what I was going to say.
He always, especially if you watch some of his like TV matches and stuff, like he worked really hard with, nobody guys.
Right.
Especially when if you watch some of his stuff and you realize how big of a guy he actually is to be moving like that. Mm-hmm. That's what shocked me, is just like he was tall. You always thought, Kevin Nash is gigantic, but Scott Hall was like 6'7". You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's one of my favorites. I don't think he's like, a traditional answer. Obviously Shawn Michaels is probably the most traditional answer as far as, in ring, all arounder. It's probably Shawn Michaels, but, underappreciated, maybe underrated is Scott Hall, in my opinion.
I just think he did stuff that was so cool, especially like when you say performer. To me, that's like all around, not just like wrestling moves, but it's like all around coolness and like what they portrayed as like a character, a wrestling character. Like there's that famous clip of when Hogan joins the Outsiders and they're all throwing the garbage and shit, and Scott Hall gets hit with that cup or bottle, and he just plays it off so cool and like moves his right. hair and like slicks his head, and like that's like such like he was just always so on and just so cool. Like even could take a moment like that without even thinking about it and just be like boom and just make it look so cool, like getting hit with fucking garbage. You know what I mean? Like I just thought, like, I don't know, I think Scott
I think like he is just like the definition of like, just like cool. Like he is a star. He's the airport test, whatever you want to say as far as all that stuff. That's Scott Hall. You know what I mean? He is all around presence. I think he has it. Like you could see that guy in the airport and know he's famous. You could see that guy on TV and know he's famous. You see that guy at the bar and know he's famous. We saw it. Even 15 years removed or whatever from the fame, he got recognized in a bar with 3 people in it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And two of the other people were you and I. So
yep.
He was just. I would go Scott Hall. I mean, if you want to go, true blue between the ropes, it's probably Shawn Michaels. But overall presentation of everything is Scott Hall for me.
Hell yeah. Well, that's going to do it. Hercules threw in there. He just got 2 tickets for Saturday, so we're going to see Hercules out there. Hell yeah. If you want to join the Discord, get in the Patreon, ask questions that we'll ask on the pod, answer on the pod, and then we'll do the shout-outs once a month. Get in there, sign up. We got some show vlogs coming up. Like we said, we got a Cybernetica one coming down the pipe. We just filmed one for the Minerva one. That was a ton. Gauntlet is still out there, too. We didn't even do Gauntlet, so we got a couple. Already filmed it in the can, so we got plenty of Patreon stuff coming out. Get in there. What, you got anything else?
When the Smoke Clears vlog just went up on Patreon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that one just dropped. That was like an hour long, too.
Oh, we have a after party for Saturday. We have to.
Oh, yeah.
We have to promote that.
Very excited about this one. Dustin Alberti securing this location, a really rad location. It's like a board game type. Let me pull up the exact information here. It's like a.
Yeah, it's like a board. It's like a. I think it's going to be right up the alley in the vein of the Funhouse, kind of how people really enjoyed that, where there's like games and there's board games and there's all kinds of different stuff going on in this place.
Yeah, it's not just like a bar. It's like a place, like you said, like has like board games, and it's like all kinds of different stuff in there all the time. Yeah,
and I think there's like a collectible store attached to it. And
yeah, because he was talking about saying there's like Pokemon cards and stuff in there.
But I think this is more kind of up the alley of what the AW fan is looking for an after party. So, again, we need people to come out and support that as well Saturday night. Because they are looking for a hopeful long-term partnership as far as, Akron is concerned and all that. It is, for those traveling from Cleveland, It is actually like when you leave the shrine, it is heading back north. So, you're going to be heading in that direction, to back to Cleveland. So it's about 10 minutes north of the Tadmor Shrine, right in kind of the outskirts of downtown Akron, I believe. But good location, tons of free parking. They're going to be doing food until 2 a.m. from what I believe.
That's what he said, yeah. I'm going so far back looking for this information in the text chat, and I cannot find where he says what the name of the bar is.
And it's they're going to be doing drink specials and all that stuff. So just very excited to have a new after party. New after party location. It is called the Green Dragon.
I was just going to say, just got to it. It's something dragon.
The Green Dragon Inn Board Game Bar and Cafe. So they're going to have food, drink specials, all kinds of stuff going on Saturday night after AIW. The address is 115 East Market Street, Akron, Ohio. Like I said, it's going back north for those that are traveling from the Cleveland area. For when you leave the venue. You're going to head back, towards the way you're coming from anyway. 115 East Market Street, Akron, Ohio. The Green Dragon Inn Board Game Bar and Cafe. I guess, Dustin said, Dustin went and he said the place is incredible. He said it's so cool. There's so much stuff to look at in there. There's all kinds of stuff to do in there. And he thinks it's going to be a really good kind of combination where the fan base has really been looking for this place that is reminiscent of the Funhouse or the Good Company years of the after parties. It sounds like this is kind of a place more up that alley as far as that's concerned. And Dustin, who again, much like you, Two Legs, did start as a fan and went and did all that stuff. He thinks that this is perfect for the fan base for an after party. So we're hopeful that not only people come Saturday to the show, but follow us to the Green Dragon Board Game Bar and Cafe to continue the Saturday night going and give them some business and they're looking to hopefully host many after parties to come if it's successful on Saturday night.
Shouts to Dustin, guy who's been killing in the commentary game, but he's always doing a lot behind the scenes. He's taking up some more responsibility, trying to do sponsorships and after party stuff, and got us an Akron after party. So shouts to Dustin, man. I'm looking forward to hanging out with everybody. Let's have some beverages. Maybe there's a board game. I beat someone's ass in Candyland or fucking Sorry or some shit. You know what I mean? Let's get crazy.
Yeah, and also Dustin also did secure another year-long exchange sponsorship deal. So the exchange has re-upped for the coming year. So there were certainly some very positive things that happened over the weekend. Obviously, with the Minerva and these kind of sponsorships things coming together. So
I love the
let's just kind of keep that positive momentum going. Obviously, if somebody's gonna be willing to host this rowdy group for an after party, we hope that people come out and give them some business because they typically aren't open this late, but they're staying open late for AIW for the after party. So
food late too. You said that's a big one. I want to make sure everyone knows that because that's a lot of question is people want to go get food and there is food. So definitely show up, check out the menu beforehand, all that stuff. So anything you want to get to before we get out of here? We did the shout outs. We got all the questions. Anything else?
I'm good. I think we're good. Just buy some tickets this weekend.
Let's get some tickets. Let's see. Get the meet and greet for Max Caster and Jerry Lynn. Get out there. Let's see. Let's party with everyone. I'll come out to the parking lot early on. We'll hang out before the show. Let's see everybody. Get tickets.
Get that vlog going. Get on the vlog.
Yeah, show up early. I'm always walking around with that camera. We'll get on the vlog, or maybe I'll try to do some quick little interviews or something. Just ask like a little quick question or something like that. Get a little fan interaction for the next vlog. So we'll see everybody out there this Saturday, the Tadmor Shrine in Akron, just off Arlington Road in Akron, Ohio. For myself, for John Thorne, for AIW, we'll see everyone this Saturday. Thanks.